What's good, everybody? This is Silas from silasbeats.com, and today I want to speak about something that we've seen in the news quite a bit. It's with regards to SAMRO, right? So we've seen that over the past few weeks, people have been posting that they've been getting very, very low SAMRO payments. Today I wanted to just speak into a little bit of that, and there might be a couple of ideas that you might gain from this. Before I get started, I just want to say that the information that I'm giving you now is based on my own experiences. Everybody's got different experiences, and if there is anything that you hear that might spark interest, go out, do some research, see if there's anything that correlates, or if there's other things that are different to what I'm saying. I'm always open to learning new things. So some artists, some well-known artists, posted that they earned a very, very low amount of money from SAMRO. Given that SAMRO's already had some pretty bad press of late, actually for a very long time, they've had very, very bad press. What I wanted to speak about is just basically this whole system of how one gets paid from SAMRO, right? So just very, very basic. You've got three parties involved, right? You've got the music creator, which is you, me, right? The artist, the rapper, the singer, that person. With them, you can bundle publishers if you want to, but for the purpose of this example, I'm just going to say that us as creators of the music. Then you've got people who make use of the music, so people who broadcast this music, whether they broadcast it in a gym, whether they broadcast it at an event, any sort of public place, right? There's that party, and then we've got SAMRO, which is then the other party. And what happens is there's this interaction between these three, right? And they need each other to, work through this process of creating the music, having the music broadcasted, and then being the person who's basically the middle person between everything that's happening. So you've got the artist. The artist, you create a song, right? What's the first thing you want to do? You get yourself registered with SAMRO. You make sure that you've notified this song that you've created with SAMRO. You see that link there. You've got that very first interaction. Now, you've also got people who are broadcasting, whether it be TV, radio, gyms, all those places, at, shows and stuff. You've got all these people who need this music. And which music do they use? They use the artist's music. But obviously, there can't be this direct relationship happening there. There has to be this intermediary, right? The intermediary becomes SAMRO. They basically formalize the whole process. So how do these people get the music? They pay a license to SAMRO. SAMRO will then say, okay, fine, we've granted you this license. You can now have music at your show. Granted, you tell us how much of what track has played where and when, right, over a particular period. They will then pay that money to SAMRO. SAMRO will then hold on to that money, right? I'm simplifying the process. I hang over a lot. But SAMRO will then hold that money, and then they will pay it out based on that report that the broadcaster gives to SAMRO to say, my track played, it played 17 times over the period of 3 months, and I was paid however many rands. SAMRO will then get that money, and then they will pay it to the artist, right? That is basically, that in a very, very basic nutshell, is how the music is made, how it's put onto any platform, how you will then get paid through it. Now, we've given that very, very basic example I've given. There's a lot of different scenarios that might lead to you being paid a little bit less than you feel you should be getting. Right? The first thing I want to say is that SAMRO doesn't pay you the same way you'll get paid from a job. At a job, you'll get paid a fixed amount every single month, given you meet the objectives of your job. Right? We know that. With SAMRO, they work a bit differently. They have distribution schedules. If you want to see what the distribution schedule looks like, what I always do wherever I am, I'll always just say, go into Google, type in SAMRO distribution schedule. It'll pop up. It's the first thing that'll pop up, and that's a PDF document that you can download and keep with you. It runs over the period of a year, and there they will tell you exactly what you get paid for when. So that you know that your radio play that you're getting now in October 2021, you will only get paid for it. It might actually not even be in this coming cycle that's coming up now. So the radio in general payment, right, happens in March, right? It changes from year to year, but it's within the first quarter of the year that radio in general payment should happen. There you will get paid for all of your tracks that got played on radio, right? You'll get payments throughout the year where you might get little bits and pieces from that, but your main payment is going to come at that particular time. For me, I wait for the TV sequencing one because majority of my music gets played in TV shows. That is also around about the same time. We're talking March side. And there'll be a lump sum payment that will come through from the previous cycle. Sometimes there's music that doesn't get paid for in that cycle. You might then need to wait until the following year at latest. Sometimes you might have to wait another year, right? I know sometimes with my payments for tracks that have played in series or whatever it might be overseas, that might take a while. Remember, you've got all of these different players involved. We have SAMRO, but remember, when your music gets played in Austria, it then gets picked up by their performance rights organization. They'll pick up that the artist is not there, and then they'll basically have this whole communication. One thing I'm not going to get into in today's video. So with all of these things taken into consideration, you can imagine that there'll be times where you won't necessarily be paid in massive amounts. I've had a look at my what is it called? It's like basically an invoice to say where you've been paid and how much you've been paid for from SAMRO. It's a document in PDF format that you receive, and that will then basically tell you how you earned your money. It breaks it down. They will tell you your track played on this channel this many times, this is how much you get paid per unit, and this is how the money has now ended up with you. If you go to your SAMRO portal and you log into your SAMRO portal and you have a look at your historic distribution schedule, you'll see that there will be payments that are quite high, you know, a couple thousand here and there, very nice, tens of thousands, those are always very nice. But there will be a lot of other payments that are 2 Rand 33, 60 Rand, 5 Rand, 10 Rand, little amounts that over a period of time add up. This is why people tell you to get your works active, right? Active being get playlisted, perform as much as you can, you know, try and get that done properly, right? So that you can earn as much as you can over a long period of time. Royalties are not a quick fix. They're not a quick fix income stream. It's one of those things that you need to build up over time. My first royalty year, the first time I ever earned royalties, it was 300 Rand I earned that year. Now it's countless times more than that, but it took time to build up. It took a while to build up. And hopefully as time goes on, sure, there'll be songs that will taper off and won't earn as much, but there'll be others that will pick up, right? This is why it's important to get your track playlisted and played as frequently as possible. Also look at other avenues, look at scoring, look at TV games, look at TV shows, all sorts of other different ways that you can earn royalties from your music. So yeah, going back to that whole thing of people getting paid very, very low amounts, there have been many times that me myself, I've been paid very, very low amounts. There have been times where I've looked at my receipt and it says 120 Rand. And I'll just be like, well, that sucks. You know, it's never great, but you continue moving. You look for the next distribution schedule. Also, don't expect to earn a hang of a lot in ways that you never set up to begin with. There's internet, there's a payment called internet and internet transmission or something along those lines. That payment, I don't expect to get anything from that because I've never actively tried to get my music onto internet radio or anything along those lines. And a payment like that can be rands, right? I can expect rands from that, if anything at all. So I actually looked through my schedule and I saw that there was something that I got paid for, a track that I did with P.O some time back. And I was like, oh, that's nice. But it was tiny. It was tiny. It was I'm sure it was a play or two. I don't know how long it was playlisted there for. But because I knew exactly what my focus is, which is predominantly TV sequencing, and then a little bit of radio and, you know, a little bit of radio in general, play here and there. Very little, no performances. I don't do any live performances. I also do very little else other than that. So I know when to expect my biggest payments. And I think that artists like that, as opposed to going out and saying, look, SAMRO paid me this much without giving us any context of what payment it was, how much, you know, what was going on, it doesn't really, for me, it doesn't hold water, because I'm like, okay, cool, now I've got questions. I've got questions for all of those people. I want to ask them what their statements, that's what it's called, statements. I want to ask them what their statements, their SAMRO statements look like. Does it indicate where you got paid? Does it indicate why you got paid that much? Is it an overflow of a payment that was from many, many years ago and now you're getting a small portion back? I want to know, right? Very, very important. So yeah, stay informed, listen to what I've said, go out there, do your own research. Let's share the information. Let's keep the conversation going. Peace.